Jack Lawson stood in the vast chamber of the Galactic Council, his uniform crisp, eyes steady. Around him, representatives from countless alien species filled the room, their murmurs echoing against the domed ceiling. At the center of it all, Ambassador Xanthier of the Zith presided, his presence a cold and calculated force. Earth must submit to the Council's rule or face annihilation. Xanthier's voice reverberated through the hall, a blend of authority and threat. Your advancements have been deemed a potential threat to galactic peace. Jack's jaw tightened. He knew this moment would come, but the blunt declaration still felt like a blow. He glanced at Maria Santos, his second-in-command, whose eyes mirrored his defiance. Next to her, Dr. Evelyn Zhang, their top scientist, was already deep in thought, undoubtedly calculating the implications of Xanthier's ultimatum. Jack stepped forward, drawing the attention of the entire assembly. We will not surrender. Humanity has the right to self-determination. We have earned our place in this galaxy. A murmur spread through the room. Xanthier's eyes narrowed, the hint of a smirk playing on his lips. So be it, he replied. Prepare for your destruction. Back on Earth, the atmosphere in the command center was tense but resolute. Jack convened a meeting with his top advisors. Maria was there, her sharp mind already formulating defensive strategies. Dr. Zhang had set up her station, analyzing alien technology captured in previous skirmishes. Captain Aaron O'Reilly, the best pilot in their fleet, stood ready, his confidence unwavering. We need to be smart about this, Jack began, his voice firm. The Council underestimates us, but we can use that to our advantage. Maria nodded. We should utilize guerrilla tactics. Hit-and-run attacks. We know our planet better than they do. Dr. Zhang added, I've been working on a way to disrupt their shield technology. If we can create an opening, we might have a chance. Jack considered their words. O'Reilly, prepare the fleet for immediate action. Maria, coordinate with our ground forces. Dr. Zhang, I need that disruption method operational as soon as possible. As his team dispersed to carry out their tasks, Jack felt a mix of pride and concern. These were the moments that defined leaders, and he was determined to lead humanity through this crisis. Hours later, alarms blared through the command center. The first wave of the Galactic Council's fleet had arrived, their ships breaking through Earth's atmosphere like a storm of steel and fire. The skies over New Sydney darkened as the alien vessels descended, their presence casting an eerie shadow over the city. Incoming! Captain O'Reilly shouted, his voice steady despite the chaos. The defense systems activated, and the battle began in earnest. Jack watched the screens, his mind racing through possibilities and contingencies. On the ground, Maria coordinated the defense, her commands precise and unyielding. Earth's forces engaged in skirmishes, using the terrain to their advantage. In the skies, O'Reilly led the air assaults, weaving through the enemy fleet with unparalleled skill. In the midst of the battle, Jack received a call from Dr. Zhang. I've found a vulnerability, she said, urgency lacing her tone. Their shields have a weak point. If we can concentrate our firepower there, we can break through. Good work, Evelyn, Jack replied. Relay the coordinates to O'Reilly and all units. Focus all attacks on that point. The battle raged on, but with Dr. Zhang's discovery, a glimmer of hope emerged. Earth's forces intensified their efforts, targeting the weak point in the alien shields. One by one, the enemy ships began to falter, their defenses crumbling under the concentrated assault. Jack felt a surge of determination. They were making progress, but the fight was far from over. He knew the Galactic Council would not relent easily, and the stakes were too high for any mistakes. As the alien fleet started to retreat, Jack allowed himself a brief moment of relief. They had won this round, but the war was just beginning. He turned to his team, their faces showing a mix of exhaustion and resolve. We've bought ourselves some time, Jack said. But we need to stay vigilant. This is just the beginning of a long fight for our survival and freedom. The horizon over New Sydney was ablaze as the first alien ships broke through the atmosphere. Captain Aaron O'Reilly maneuvered his fighter jet with precision, his eyes fixed on the swarm of enemy vessels descending like a dark wave. His hands moved instinctively over the controls, the years of training and combat experience guiding him through the chaos. Engage at will. Jack Lawson's voice crackled over the comms, his command resonating with authority and determination. The defense systems activated, and Earth's forces surged to meet the invaders. On the ground, Maria Santos orchestrated the defense with surgical precision. Her voice cut through the noise, directing units to strategic positions. Alpha Squad, hold the eastern flank. Beta Squad, reinforce the western perimeter. Explosions rocked the city as alien ships unleashed their firepower. Earth's forces responded with a barrage of missiles and laser fire, the sky lit with the violent dance of combat. Despite the overwhelming odds, the human defenders held their ground, their resilience a testament to their unyielding spirit. In the command center, Jack watched the battle unfold on multiple screens, his mind racing through strategies. "We need to create a diversion," he said, turning to Dr. Evelyn Zhang. "Can you generate a false signal to draw some of their ships away from the city?" Dr. Zhang's fingers flew over her keyboard. "I can. Give me a moment." Within seconds, she had concocted a sophisticated digital decoy, sending false readings of significant human activity to the alien sensors. Several enemy ships veered off course, chasing the phantom signals. "Good work, Evelyn," Jack said, his focus shifting back to the main battle. "O'Reilly, take advantage of the diversion and hit their flanks hard." "Roger that," O'Reilly replied, his jet banking sharply as he led a squadron in a daring attack run. The maneuver caught the aliens off guard, and several enemy vessels erupted in fiery plumes. Meanwhile, on the ground, Maria's unit encountered a squad of alien soldiers who had landed amidst the chaos. The aliens, towering and armored, advanced with lethal precision. Maria drew her weapon, her movements fluid and confident. "Hold the line," she shouted, engaging the nearest alien with a well-aimed shot. The clash was brutal and close quarters, but Maria's leadership and the soldiers' tenacity turned the tide. They fought with a combination of raw determination and tactical brilliance, pushing the alien invaders back. Back in the command center, Jack's attention was drawn to a critical alert. "They're targeting our power grid," he muttered. "If they take it out, we lose our defenses." Dr. Zhang glanced up, concern etched on her face. "We need to secure the grid. If they breach it, the city will be defenseless." Jack made a swift decision. "Maria, take a team and secure the power grid. We can't afford to lose it." On it, Maria responded, rallying a squad and moving out with haste. The power grid was a sprawling complex on the outskirts of the city, and securing it would be no small feat as they approached. The team encountered heavy resistance from alien forces attempting to sabotage the infrastructure. "Cover me!" Maria yelled, moving with agility and purpose. The team provided suppressing fire as Maria navigated through the chaos, reaching the control panel. Her fingers danced over the interface, activating emergency protocols and reinforcing the grid's defenses. "Grid secure," she reported, her voice steady despite the intensity of the battle. "Excellent work," Jack replied, relief evident in his tone. "Now let's drive them out of our skies." The battle raged on, the human forces relentless in their defense. Jack coordinated the efforts, his strategic mind anticipating the alien moves and countering with precision. Captain O'Reilly continued to execute daring maneuvers, taking out enemy ships with unparalleled skill. Dr. Zhang's discovery of the alien shield vulnerability became a turning point. Jack relayed the coordinates to all units, focusing their firepower on the weak points. The concentrated assault began to show results, with more alien ships falling from the sky. Amidst the chaos, Jack received an unexpected message. "Sir, this is Recon Team Bravo. We've intercepted a transmission. It's in Zithian, but it mentions something about a secondary wave." Jack's heart sank. "They're planning a second assault. We need to be ready." As the first wave of alien ships began to retreat, the defenders regrouped, preparing for the next onslaught. Jack knew they had won a crucial battle, but the war was far from over. He looked at his team, their faces a mix of exhaustion and determination. "We've shown them our strength," Jack said. "Now we need to prepare for the next strike. We'll hold this ground, no matter what." Dr. Evelyn Zhang's fingers flew over the keyboard in the dimly lit research lab. Monitors displayed alien schematics, shield frequencies, and power grids. She had made significant progress deciphering the alien technology, but something still nagged at the back of her mind. Jack Lawson's voice crackled over the comms. "Evelyn, how's it going? We need that shield disruption method operational ASAP." "Almost there, Jack," Evelyn replied, her eyes not leaving the screen. "Just a few more adjustments." Jack's trust in her abilities pushed Evelyn to work harder. But as she delved deeper into the alien data, she noticed a peculiar pattern in the encryption, a signature she recognized all too well. Her heart raced. The encryption bore the mark of the Zith, the very species they were fighting against. Before she could process this, the door behind her slid open. She turned, expecting one of her colleagues, but found herself staring into the cold eyes of Ambassador Xanthier. "How did you?" Evelyn started, but Xanthier's steely gaze silenced her. "Dr. Zhang, it's time you fulfill your true purpose," Xanthier intoned, his voice dripping with menace. He raised a small device, and before Evelyn could react, she felt a sharp pain at the base of her skull. Her vision blurred, and the world tilted. When she regained consciousness, she was back at her workstation, but everything felt different. The encryption pattern on the screen seemed to pulse, mocking her. She realized with horror that Xanthier had implanted a neural override device, turning her into a pawn. Jack's voice broke through her haze. "Evelyn, report." She wanted to scream, to warn him, but all that came out was, "I'm making progress. Need a bit more time." As she continued to work, she subtly altered the algorithms, embedding a fatal flaw in the shield disruption method. She hoped Jack would notice something was off before it was too late. In the command center, Jack reviewed the latest updates with Maria and Captain O'Reilly. "Evelyn's making good progress. We might just have a fighting chance." Maria nodded, but her eyes were troubled. "Something's bothering me, Jack. We need to be vigilant. The Zith are too quiet. It feels like they're planning something bigger." Jack shared her unease but pushed it aside. "We'll stay sharp. Let's prepare for the next phase." Hours later, Evelyn sent the final codes for the shield disruption to Jack. He analyzed the data, everything seemed in order. "Excellent work, Evelyn. This could turn the tide." Jack relayed the new strategy to the fleet. "All units, focus fire on the designated coordinates." Evelyn's found a way through their shields. The fleet moved into position. As the ships approached the alien vessels, they unleashed a coordinated assault. The alien shields flickered, then failed. Cheers erupted across the comms. In the lab, Evelyn watched in horror as the fatal flaw she had embedded began to unravel. The alien ships adjusted their frequencies, countering the disruption method. The human fleet, now exposed, faced a devastating counterattack. "Jack, something's wrong." Maria's voice cut through the comms. "Their shields are back up, and they're retaliating hard." Jack's eyes widened as he saw the ships falling one by one. "Evelyn, what happened?" Evelyn's voice was hollow. "I don't know, Jack. I need to recheck the codes." Jack's mind raced. He knew Evelyn wouldn't make such a mistake. His thoughts were interrupted by a secure message from Recon Team Bravo. "Sir, we've intercepted a communication. It's Evelyn. She's compromised." Jack's heart sank. He turned to Maria. "Evelyn's been turned. She's sabotaging us from within." Maria's face hardened. "We need to isolate her and fix this. Now." Jack nodded, issuing orders to contain Evelyn's access. "Maria, take a team. Secure the lab and get Evelyn out of there. We need to fix this." Maria and a squad of elite soldiers stormed the lab. Evelyn was waiting for them, her face a mask of anguish. "I'm sorry," she whispered as they restrained her. Back in the command center, Jack worked furiously to correct the sabotage. He transmitted new codes to the fleet. "All units, switch to the backup frequencies. Re-engage on my mark." The fleet adjusted, and with the new codes, they managed to disrupt the alien shields once more. This time, the attack was successful. Alien ships exploded, and the tide of battle turned in humanity's favor. As the alien fleet retreated, Jack took a deep breath. The immediate threat was over, but the cost had been high. Evelyn's betrayal cut deep, and the knowledge that the Zith had infiltrated their ranks shook him to his core. In the lab, Maria looked at Evelyn, bound and silent. "Why, Evelyn?" Evelyn's eyes filled with tears. "I couldn't stop it. They controlled me." Maria sighed, the weight of the situation heavy on her shoulders. "We'll get through this. But we need to stay vigilant." Jack's voice came over the comms. "Maria, bring Evelyn to the command center. We need to debrief and figure out our next move." The battle-scarred landscape of New Sydney bore witness to humanity's resolve. Smoke billowed from the ruins, and the horizon was dotted with the wreckage of alien and human ships alike. In the command center, Jack Lawson stood with Maria Santos and Captain Aaron O'Reilly, their faces etched with determination. "We've pushed them back for now, but they'll be back," Jack said, his voice resolute. "We need to strike at their heart. This is our chance to end this conflict on our terms." Maria nodded. "We've identified the location of the Council's flagship. It's heavily guarded, but if we can take it out, we'll cripple their command structure." Dr. Evelyn Zhang, now cleared of the neural override, joined them. Her eyes were filled with guilt but also determination. "I've devised a new strategy. We'll use their own technology against them. This time, there won't be any flaws." Jack glanced at her, seeing the resolve in her eyes. "We'll need everyone's best effort. O'Reilly, you're leading the assault. Evelyn, stay with me and coordinate the attack." Captain O'Reilly saluted. "I'll get it done, Jack. We won't let you down." As the team prepared for the final assault, the atmosphere was charged with a mix of anticipation and resolve. The fleet assembled, each pilot and soldier ready to give their all. Jack's voice echoed through the comms, providing final instructions and encouragement. "Remember, this isn't just about survival. It's about our future. We fight for humanity, for our right to exist. Let's show them what we're made of." The fleet launched, and the final battle began. O'Reilly led the charge, his jet slicing through the sky as they approached the Council's flagship. The alien defenses were formidable, but the human forces pressed on, their resolve unshaken. Evelyn's new strategy was put to the test. As the fleet neared the flagship, she activated the disruptor codes. The alien shields flickered, then collapsed, leaving the massive ship vulnerable. "Now's our chance," O'Reilly shouted, diving toward the flagship. His squadron followed, unleashing a barrage of missiles. Explosions rippled across the enemy vessel, but it wasn't enough to bring it down. In the command center, Jack monitored the battle, his mind racing through contingencies. "Evelyn, can we increase the disruptor's power?" Evelyn's fingers flew over the controls. "I'll overload the system. It's risky, but it might just work." "Do it," Jack commanded. As Evelyn initiated the overload, the alien flagship systems began to fail. The massive ship lurched, its defenses faltering. O'Reilly seized the opportunity, leading a daring assault on the command bridge. Amidst the chaos, Jack received a transmission from Ambassador Xanthier. "Lawson, you fought well, but this ends now." "Not on your terms," Jack replied, his voice steely. "We're taking you down." Xanthier's image flickered, his expression unreadable. "We'll see about that." O'Reilly's squadron breached the flagship's hull, engaging in fierce combat with the alien defenders. The battle was intense, each side fighting with everything they had. O'Reilly pushed forward, his resolve unyielding. "We need to get to the bridge," he shouted, rallying his team. They advanced through the corridors, taking down enemies with precision and teamwork. Meanwhile, in the command center, Jack and Evelyn monitored their progress. Evelyn's face was tense, focused on maintaining the disruptor's power. "We're close, Jack. Just a little longer." As O'Reilly's team neared the bridge, they faced the last line of defense. The alien guards were relentless, but O'Reilly and his team fought with unmatched ferocity. They broke through, reaching the bridge's doors. "Prepare for breach," O'Reilly ordered. The doors blew open, and the team stormed in, taking the bridge by surprise. Xanthier stood at the center, his calm demeanor a stark contrast to the chaos around him. "It's over, Xanthier," O'Reilly declared, his weapon trained on the ambassador. Xanthier's eyes narrowed. "You think you've won, human? This is merely a setback." Before Xanthier could react, O'Reilly fired, taking him down. The bridge erupted in a frenzy, but the human forces quickly secured it. The flagship systems began to collapse without its command, signaling the end of the battle. Back in the command center, Jack watched as the alien fleet retreated. Relief washed over him, but he knew this was only a temporary victory. They had struck a significant blow, but the war was far from over. "Evelyn, send out the recall signal. We need to regroup and assess our next steps." Evelyn nodded, her expression a mix of exhaustion and resolve. "On it, Jack." As the human forces returned, the weight of their victory and the sacrifices made settled in. Jack addressed his team, his voice filled with pride and determination. "We've shown them our strength today. We've proven that humanity will not be subdued. But we must remain vigilant. This victory is just the beginning of a long fight for our future."